Today, I'd like to share with you how dinosaurs have helped me to learn the Dharma. So, when I was very little, I was completely obsessed with dinosaurs. The very first job I aspired to was to be a paleontologist, which is a long word when you're 7 or 8. And so I was, especially because I read in some picture book that there was this 12-year-old girl, and she belonged to like a family of fossil hunters. They lived on the English coast, and at age 12, she had found a full ichthyosaur fossil. Yeah. So I thought, wow, if you can do that at 12, I'm 8 now, surely when I grow up, I can be a paleontologist. So I started to learn the names of dinosaurs, and that entailed learning another language. All these names are in Latin. Yeah. So like stegosaur, triceratops, and learning their different features. And that was very joyful. And then I remember when I was 9, the movie Jurassic Park came out. And that was like, I don't know, I could have died and gone to heaven, seeing these huge dinosaurs on screen. And then, after watching that movie, I had heard that the book is always better than the movie. So I thought, I must read this book. So somehow I got it from the library or a used bookstore, and it was for adults, yeah. But so there I am at age 9 trying to read Jurassic Park with the help of a dictionary, thinking it's about dinosaurs, so it's very important and I must read it, and and stretch myself. And it had words in it like DNA and RNA, or I thought, what is that? Yeah. So, for the love of dinosaurs, it got me a certain way. Yeah. So fast forward maybe 20-something years, and I moved to the Abbey. I'm 29. And one of the first classes that we were attending when I was a layperson was Dr. Jeffrey Hopkins teaching us on tenets. And I remember sitting in that first class and thinking, okay, I think he spoke English, but I understood nothing that he said. And it was really shocking. So many new terms in different languages, like Sautantrika, Vaibhashika, like what are those? And there were all these definitions that were supposedly translated, but they didn't make any sense. So now I'm going to invite my friend Jason to posit the definition of a Sautantrika, please.
A person who propounds lower vehicle of tenets and who accepts the true existence of external phenomena and self-cognition.
Did you understand that? Anyhow, I just remember the first time reading that, right? It was like, it's English, but what's a proponent? What's a tenet? What are their higher vehicles, their lower vehicles? Aren't all objects external? Why do you have to have the word external object? Yeah, and what is a self-cognizer? So, I would just sit in that class every week thinking, I guess I'm getting seeds. But after a while, I just felt really discouraged. And then I remembered dinosaurs. And I thought, when I was little, I was happy to get familiar with all these terms in a different language and put in all this effort because I just thought I wanted to be a paleontologist, right? So I thought, don't I want to learn about emptiness and progress along the path and maybe even understand it and realize it someday? I can put in the same kind of effort, right? So that's actually what got me interested in going and like learning these terms. Like what's a Vaibhashika, Sautantrika, and so on. I have not memorized these definitions. And just feeling more encouraged, like I can do this, take the time to learn this material. Early on, I used to make charts like you saw with Venerable Ngawang, make tables, try and just get the words straight and even get familiar with them, knowing that that will help. Yeah. So, and then I was thinking about all this because last winter retreat, I felt like I had my Jurassic Park moment with this, the learning of Buddhist philosophy, because we attended Venerable Sangye Kadro's teachings on the 70 topics, which come from Maitreya's Ornament of Clear Realizations. That is the title, but I feel like my realization, there are no realizations, it's about as clear as mud still, having heard her teach. And, I've tried reading the text translated by Jeffrey Hopkins, but yeah, that's where I am. But anyhow, so having heard those teachings and read that text, I thought, it's a commentary on the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, right? So that since we've had some connection with the commentary, why not try looking at the root text? And thanks to the 84,000 project, right, they have a wonderful free application that you can download on your tablet. And they have the Great Perfection of Wisdom Sutras in various iterations already translated. So I thought, okay, let's start with the one in 10,000 lines. And so, it loads on your tablet. Last retreat, every morning, I would read a little bit every morning. It's 10,000. Yeah, this is a shorter one. I'm not, yeah, there's 8,000. I think the one I read was the 10,000, I think. Yeah, there are various lengths, yeah. And of course, the one word, and then the Heart Sutra, yeah. So anyhow, so I was reading that, and, it's in chapters. And every morning I would just read a bit, and it gave me so much joy. I don't know, just reading these, it was like, oh, this is what the commentaries have been talking about. And it's just like insight into how bodhisattvas think, what they want to practice. And every time I read one chapter, I just felt like really happy, like the earth moved in some funny way. I think sometimes people read sutras and they sometimes people read sutras and they apparently attend or hear the teachings of the Buddha, right? And then they attain stream entry or they attain the state of non-retrogression. I did not, but I read these sutras and I just felt like getting up and dancing or singing Carol King's I Feel the Earth Move. That is my very low-level response. So I did not do that in Gotami House during retreat, but I would just feel so happy in the morning. And I felt so grateful that I would not have had any appreciation of these texts without having some teachings about them because, they seem very abstruse, right? It's like, no this, no that, no. Or it's just things that we don't often talk about or think about. So it really made me appreciate some of, all these teachings we received all these years from Venerable Chögyam and also Venerable Sangye Kadro. And really, I think the main purpose of this talk is I want to show you some pictures of my favorite dinosaurs. There we go. It's the Vaibhashika Velociraptor. No. Yes, this was in Singapore. And here, my favorite, the Brachiosaur, I think. Yeah, I had another one yes, and one more in her natural habitat. No, the Sanskrit word for guru, I believe, means heavy with good qualities. So yes, we live with great people heavy with good qualities. So anyhow, recently I discovered too, I am not the only person who is inspired by dinosaurs. I happen to, all little kids are, yes, but to stretch yourself, it was on the front page of the Singapore Straits Times that there was a 9-year-old boy who had won like absolute winner of some big violin competition in Europe. And why he started learning the violin was because his mother showed him a video of an orchestra playing the Jurassic Park theme song. And he's like, oh, wow, that's possible. And so he started to learn the violin. And I have to confess, I listened to a little piece of him playing. And if you close your eyes, you would think it was a mature adult. Yeah. He was just playing with so much feeling. And then you open your eyes, it's a 9-year-old boy with a bowl haircut. So that, I think, is definitely some karma ripening there. So anyhow, I did not become a paleontologist. That's quite obvious. I think sometime in that year when I was 9, my father broke the very difficult news that there are no dinosaur bones in Singapore. And I was very devastated. I tried to discuss with him the possibility of maybe working in the Gobi Desert in China. And he said, we'll talk about that when you're older. So that kind of put an end to the paleontology piece. But I do believe it is possible to become a Buddha, right? And on the way, somewhere along the way, to have some kind of realization of emptiness. So not a paleontologist, but I think working toward perhaps a more realistic and beneficial goal. And so I'm glad that I did not give up on learning about tenets and that, these little joyful experiences learning, just seeing what is possible when we take interest and joy in what we're learning can help inspire our Dharma study, I hope, especially when we're wading through a foreign language or terms that seem foreign and difficult, to remember, that we have a big goal and we'll get there as we take one step at a time. And we have the help of great dinosaurs that have come before us.